I'm chronicling the history of Pokemon cards by collecting them and putting them in a binder. Collecting them all is a nearly impossible goal, but the first step is to know what you're looking for. Welcome to Check the Box. We've been cruising through the Pokedex and have arrived at our first normal type Pokemon, Pidgey. And normal is a pretty apt description for Pidgey, whose design is a fairly basic fledgling bird. At least I assume that's what Pidgey looks like to an outsider. To me, Pidgey's too nostalgic to see through that lens. As I alluded to in my Squirtle video, my preferences for Pokemon are heavily influenced by my childhood experience playing the Game Boy game. And Pidgey was the first wild Pokemon I ever caught. Pidgey's evolution line was almost always a staple in my party, and usually stuck with me to fly me around the map. As a result, I seem to have harbored a fondness for Pidgey as evidenced in my collection. This also made me curious, what was the first wild Pokemon you remember catching, and did that make you a lifelong fan? I'm sure I'm not the only one. Anyway, let's get to the Master List and see what I'm missing. We start out with the first edition base set Pidgey. If you've been watching my videos, you might recall that this is only the third video so far where I'm not starting out with a placeholder card for the base set first edition slot. So we're starting out strong as we of course move through the rest of the base set suite. Coming to the shadowless version, Unlimited, which introduces the drop shadow under the artwork, and finally the fourth print, which added the year 2000 to the copyright language. This classic artwork also appeared in the reprint sets Base Set 2, and then Legendary Collection in 2002. Here we have another landmark with the chaotic debut of reverse holo cards. This is only the second set so far where I haven't needed a placeholder card for the Legendary Collection reverse holo. Going back to the year 2000, we see Koga's Pidgey performing the duties of a carrier pigeon in Gym Challenge. There were actually two Koga's Pidgey cards in this set, each with a first edition run. Next in 2002, Pidgey appeared in the Expedition base set, where reverse holo cards become the norm going forward. Then in 2004, we have FireRed LeafGreen. As I've mentioned before, there are 3 alternate serials for the non-holo card in this set. I'm not including those as separate spots in the binder, but if you're excited to collect those, then I have great news for you. This card was reprinted in not just 1, but 4 World Championship decks. That means you could have 8 distinct versions of this card if you were so inclined. Unfortunately for me though, these World Championship deck cards break the streak I had going since I don't own any of them. In Holon Phantoms, we get an electric type Pidgey with this Delta Species card. Interestingly enough, despite the typing, even this Pidgey has a weakness to lightning. That same year, we get the Pop Series 4 side set, where this Karen Pidgey is ready to speak to your manager. Then Pidgey reappeared in Secret Wonders in 2007. I really like this art style with the bold black lines, so shout out to the illustrator, Hironobu Yoshida. Three years later, Pidgey appeared in Triumphant, where Pidgey has less cartoonish proportions in this Suwama Chiaki illustration, which is styled more like traditional Japanese artwork. She returned the next year to illustrate Pidgey again in Call of Legends. Then Pidgey brings back the cute factor in 2014's Flash Fire. This was Pidgey's only appearance in the XY era, but the card did appear twice in the XY Trainer kit. From there, it took 5 years for Pidgey to make a comeback in 2019's Team Up. This is the only Sun and Moon era set to feature Pidgey, but luckily there were 2 different artworks in this set. We take another long break, but Pidgey returns in 2023's Obsidian Flames. This set makes up for lost time by including Pidgey's first rare card with this illustration rare. The Pidgey love continues in the Scarlet and Violet era with 151, where Pidgey of course appears with all other Gen 1 Pokemon. This card also got a League promo printing. Finally, we get a shiny Pidgey with this secret rare in Paldean Fates. It's nice to see how much attention Pidgey got in the Scarlet and Violet era after a few droughts, but that'll do it for the Pidgey Master List. We didn't see any cameo cards in the Master List, but Pidgey has made a number of cameo appearances that I left out for one reason or another. Let's take a look at those. Firstly, Pidgey appears in the background of this holo rare EV card in Hidden Fates, along with Grimer and Voltorb. This was the only cameo appearance by Pidgey before the Scarlet and Violet era, but like we saw in the main set, they have gotten much more love in recent years. A pair of Pidgeys appear in this Pikachu card from 151. Say that 10 times fast. This card is the mother of all Gen 1 cameo cards, so I hope you're getting used to seeing it at the end of my videos. Next in the same set, we see another pair with this Machoke illustration rare. This is an interesting artwork, but I have to say, I'm not sure why a moving company would exclusively employ Machoke when Machamp literally has an extra set of hands. Moving on, we see Pidgey in this Snorlax promo from the 151 Elite Trainer box, where Pidgey has secured the high ground against Diglett. Then we have another Elite Trainer box promo, this time from Obsidian Flames. It looks like Pidgey knows exactly what they're doing, taunting this cooped up Charmander. Conversely, this Bulbasaur from Stellar Crown seems very content staying indoors, and Pidgey is happy to join them. Rounding out the starters, we see a few Pidgeys hanging out on the balcony with Squirtle in another Stellar Crown illustration rare. I'm not sure how long they'll put up with Squirtle's antics though. Finally, we have another illustration rare with Morty's Conviction from Temporal Forces. Despite Pidgey's appearance on this card, I will most likely be including this cameo card in Gengar's Master List instead. Now that was a pretty insane run of illustration cards that Pidgey appeared in. If you're a Pidgey collector, I think including these in your Master List would make it a really interesting and unique collection. I'll also say that the 3 starter cards seem like a really great set in and of themselves, with the similarities in settings. Since Pidgey is the common denominator, putting these in a Pidgey collection makes a lot of sense to me. Before moving on, I'll just briefly mention Pidgey's appearance in Trainer Deck B for the diehard collectors. Okay, let's get to the set recap. Compared to the other basic Pokemon that I've covered so far, Pidgey just barely avoids being the smallest set by beating out Caterpie by only 1 card. When looking at the set value, they're not so lucky, coming in at the very bottom. Pidgey is redeemed in my personal collection where I have an 84% completion rate, second only to Squirtle. Speaking of Squirtle, I'm giving away this Pokemon Center exclusive Squirtle as a 10,000 subscriber giveaway, and I'm announcing the winner right now. I used pickawinner.co to select a random comment because the first one I tried had a comment limit. Excluding replies and duplicate commenters, there were nearly 1,200 comments, so thanks to everyone who participated. And the winner is PokeWeek1, who also left a really nice comment. Thanks PokeWeek1, congratulations, and the card is on the way. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing or becoming a member if you don't want to miss out on future videos. And of course, keep coming back if you need more boxes to check.